So, we're here, Srimad Bhagavatam. The topic today is going to be longing for the Lord. We've been talking about the deficiency in society the past few days and how to properly govern. So Yudhishthira was the ideal king. And after the Bhishma was, you could say, he left this world in glory. Now Yudhishthira was left to actually rule the kingdom after the Mahabharata war. So, I can probably, Okay, for you guys, I'll give you.
You can also maximize the screen.
So, no problem. All together, it's 1:10:7. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayamrupa Gadamaya Sati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunath Panditam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Nisha Panditamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamani Priye Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuneva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtya Veshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Very good. So, Srimad Bhagavatam. This is one of the things that every day you should do. You should hear Srimad Bhagavatam. There's 5 compulsory things to make advancement in bhakti. We do all 5 of them here. We do Nam Sankirtan, which is when we come together, we chant Kirtan in the morning, and then also chanting of japa is included in that. Chanting the holy names of the Lord. We do that every morning. Archana, or deity worship, Archana Vigraha, the worship of the deity, especially for household people who are in school, who are in work, who have family. This is compulsory because this type of lifestyle that we live is so distracting and so easy to get lost in Maya that you must have some regulated schedule to hold yourself in spiritual life. And Archana, the Archana process is mandatory to actually make advancement. So we do that every day as well. Sadhu Sangha, getting together with the devotees. This is what we need, inspiration. This is what the Mahatmas do. They enlighten one another. They inspire one another. They speak about Krishna. They're always speaking of Krishna together. This is what Mahatmas are doing. This is why we join in Sadhu Sangha. That's 3. The 4th is this one, Bhagavat Shravana. Every day we should hear from the Bhagavatam. We should hear the messages of Krishna. Every day, so we cleanse our hearts of our material desires, which cause us what? Suffering, yes, it causes us suffering. right? It cleanses our heart of material desires and then awakens love for God instead, which causes what? Ever increasing ecstatic bliss. That sounds good, right? Who wants to swim in an ocean of ever increasing ecstatic bliss? So yeah, so this is necessary. We have to hear Bhagavatam every day. And the last is Dham Seva. At some point you should also go to the holy Dhams and really immerse yourself in the culture and the pastime places there and hear from the saints there. All the great saints and sages, they gather and go to the Dhams regularly. Or many live at the Dhams. So we should also do Dham Seva. Very important. By good fortune, Piyush, you are from a type of Dham, Prayag. Brijesh is also from Prayag. You're from a Dham, so there are many saints and sages there. And also, you're kind of right in between, the two main Dhams of, at least this, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lineage, Vrindavan, Sri Vrindavan, and Mayapur. So you have access. Meghna, you live, your family in India lives 3 hours from like the chief Dham, Mayapur, Sri Dham Mayapur. So you're very fortunate. You can just go there any which time once you get some inspiration.
Wants you to use the mic.
Mic?
Yeah, because she can just hear the Insta point.
Really?
Yeah. Or you can be louder, like you.
I can try.
But you can use the microphone as well.
If someone helps me set this up, no problem. Oh my God! I need an untangler, but I'll just keep talking in the first place. Okay. So anyway, these 5 things are very important, but hearing Bhagavatam every day is necessary. It's compulsory, actually. And hearing in person is always better than online. Always better than online. If you can hear in person, now the person should be semi-qualified, which is why everyone is a bit unfortunate in Syracuse, because there are not many people speaking Bhagavatam. It's not like you have many people to choose from. But there may be something that can be learned here today. And if we just read Srila Prabhupada's books, that alone will be very purifying. Thank you, Pete. But all 8 years of my bhakti. Ooh. Yes, all 8 years of my practice bhakti I'll happily give to you if it's worth anything. I don't know how much it's worth, but it might have some worth. So if you feel so, please come and hear Bhagavatam daily, because this is what our acharyas recommend, is compulsory to make spiritual advancement and to maintain your spiritual life. This is why we have this program every day. And if we're not doing this program every day, we have a program later in the day so that others can benefit as well. So take the opportunity while it's here. And you've taken it today, so I'm very happy. So let's read Bhagavatam. That's what it's all about. Yes?
You can maximize the green.
Oh, this green thing. Okay, let me see how that works. Yes. Is that better? Okay. Ushitva Hastinapure Masan Katipayan Hari Suhridam Cha Vishokaya Spashuscha Priya Kamyaya. Very good. Ushitva, staying. Hastinapure, in the city of Hastinapur. Masan, months. Katipayan, a few. Hari, Lord Sri Krishna. Suhridam, relatives. Cha, also. Vishokaya, for pacifying them. Svasu, the sister. Cha, and. Priya Kamyaya, for pleasing. Sri Hari, Lord Sri Krishna, resided at Hastinapur for a few months to pacify his relatives and please his own sister, Subhadra. So, let me see where we ended last time. We was talking about Craig. Good morning, Hare Krishna. We were talking about how Yudhisthira was ruling the kingdom after he was lifted of his illusions and lifted of his grief and was ready to take on, and how vastly different Yudhisthira's ruling, or a devotee ruler, is compared to the rulership that we have in all of its different forms and facets in Kali Yuga, and it's not even close. And how actually the whole world is happy with a proper ruler, and that actually the reason the whole world is suffering as bad as it is in Kali Yuga in this age is because we don't have proper rulers. We don't have qualified people to lead things. Now, the good fortune, the good news is Kali Yuga is only, well, you might think, is this good news? Yes, there is good news here. Parth, wow, you look so handsome. Yeah. Yes. 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Okay. So, Parth, nice to see you. So, the good news is good luck. Hare Krishna. The good news is that in Kali Yuga, as it gets worse and worse and worse, the people are going to suffer more and more and more. And you're saying, how is that good news? Well, the people, we are not necessarily subject to that. For the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, it's only going to get better and better and better. We're entering a golden age. And I've seen that, actually. We were talking to someone the other day. I said something a little insensitive. I was like, COVID was a great time. But actually, if you really think about it, for most people, COVID was not a great time. It was like a really trialing, troublesome time. They lost relatives. It was kind of insensitive because for myself, it was kind of like a really defining, wonderful time. They were, everyone stopped working. There was an interest in spiritual life, and they were just giving out free money, and it was just like a whole big, really interesting thing. There was weird mask thing that was going on for a while. But anyway, I know, and I'm not the only one who felt this way. There was a ton of devotees who said during COVID that their life, so many improvements happened to their life. And this is actually an example, a small example of what happens when you take to the devotional path. Everything becomes an opportunity. That's what Advaita means. All is one. The Lord is present everywhere, in every circumstance and in every opportunity. And so, even COVID, what looks like a horrible thing for the materially attached, and it is, because if you're materially attached to certain things, guess what? The Lord's plan is always going to be averse to your plan. But if you are always down for the Lord's plan and understanding that Advaita consciousness, naturally whatever's happening, the Lord's got a new opportunity here. So COVID could have been your opportunity, but it's going to get worse actually. Other things will happen in Kali Yuga. Astrologically, they're saying 2030. It's such a conjunction of planets that it's likely that the world will see more death at that time, between 2030 and I think 2032, than it's seen in many, many decades. Maybe something like World War II was the last time such planetary death had taken place. Anyway, that could be very bad for many people. But it could also be very good for the devotees who are trying to, spread Krishna consciousness. When trials and tribulations come, these are the 4 types of people who approach Krishna. The people who have all kinds of different tribulations. So anyhow, this is potential opportunities. So Yudhisthira, there was a great tribulation, and they came out, and now the world is knowing a peace it's never seen before, because the devotee is ruling the kingdom. And everyone's happy, everyone is in a wonderful situation. But now there's going to be a problem. Krishna, he's residing at Hastinapur for a few months. But now let's see what Srila Prabhupada is going to say. Here, just to give some context. Krishna was to start for Dwarka, his own kingdom, after the battle of Kurukshetra and Yudhishthira is being enthroned. But to oblige the request of Maharaj Yudhishthira and to show special mercy to Bhishmadev, Lord Krishna stopped at Hastinapur, the capital of the Pandavas. The Lord decided to stay especially to pacify the aggrieved king as well as to please Subhadra, the sister of Lord Sri Krishna. Subhadra was especially to be pacified because she lost her only son, Abhimanyu, who was just married. Actually, the losing of Abhimanyu is probably, for me, the saddest part of Mahabharata. For me, that was like the most...
You haven't seen it visually, right?
No, I haven't.
Show?
No.
There are like two shows, like one is like the recent one.
What's the B.R. Chopra one?
The B.R. Chopra is the classic.
Okay.
The one that came recently also is also really good.
Oh, really?
And when that prasang comes, and when the scene comes, it's like devastating.
Very heart-wrenching.
Because they literally use a teenager for that.
Oh.
Because Abhimanyu was a teenager.
Yes,
he was
yes.
so gentle and powerful. You get attached to that kind of
So I've never watched it. I may give it a chance,
yeah.
but but even just reading it, just hearing it, it's very, very, it's the saddest part for me, the whole Kurukshetra war. But there's a lot of lessons to be learned there. But anyhow, the boy left his wife, Uttara, mother of Maharaj Parikshit, who's the main character of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Lord is always pleased to satisfy his devotees in any capacity. Only his devotees can play the parts of his relatives. The Lord is absolute. So the Srila Prabhupada is explaining the Lord's position. He kind of comes here like an actor. The actor, he's playing a part in a movie, but at the end of the day, the relationship is actually different, and sometimes we define actors by, I don't know, what's an actor that, I don't know, if you were to define Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump, like, oh look, it's Forrest Gump over there, but he's an actor named Tom Hanks. So anyway, when we see the Lord, a lot of times, he's in this clan, he's in this dynasty, this, that, and the other. But actually, he's the supreme Lord of all creation, and all of those dynasties originated from him. Govinda, Madi Purusham, Tamaham Bhajami, Alpha obeisances unto the original, supreme, inexhaustible Lord. So anyhow, but he has roles with his devotees, and these devotees relish bhajan or a worshipful relationship with the Lord. So we actually too, we can also play some part. But we'll see. But let's keep reading. Amantriya chabhyanu gyata. Try it.
Amantriya chabhyanu gyata.
Parishvajya vivadyatam.
Parishavya vivajita.
Aruroharatam kaishchit.
Aruroharatam kaschit.
Parishvakto vivadita.
Parishvakto vivaditaha.
David, do I have to keep running this?
No, it was only the Instapot was like, what's that called? Venting. But it's not venting.
Okay, I'm going to shut this off because it's like a little unnecessary. Okay, so amantriya. Taking permission. Cha and abhyanugyata. Being permitted. Parisvajya. Embracing. Abhivadya. Bowing down at the feet. Tam unto Maharaj Yudhishthir. Aruroha. Ascended. Ratham. The chariot. Kaishchit. By someone. Parishvakta, being embraced. Abhivadita, being offered obeisances. Translation. Afterwards, when the Lord asked permission to depart and the king gave it, the Lord offered his respects to Maharaj Yudhishthir by bowing down at his feet. And the king embraced him. After this, the Lord, being embraced by others and received their obeisances, got into his chariot. Maharaj Yudhishthir was the elder cousin, Prabhupada is saying, the elder cousin of Lord Krishna, and therefore while departing from him, the Lord bowed down at the king's feet. The king embraced him as a younger brother, although the king knew perfectly well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord takes pleasure when some of his devotees accept him as less important in terms of love. No one is greater than or equal to the Lord, but he takes pleasure in being treated as younger than his devotees. These are all transcendental pastimes of the Lord. The impersonalist cannot enter into the supernatural roles played by the devotee of the Lord. Thereafter, Bhima and Arjuna embraced the Lord because they were of the same age, but Nakula and Sahadev bowed down before the Lord because they were younger than he. So again, this is mentioning the Lord's relationship And Yudhisthira was technically the elder of the family dynasty, even though the Lord is the original inexhaustible personality. But because he's come in this role as this actor, there's a certain etiquette, societal etiquette. So Yudhisthira, he relishes this. So will all the other family members. So we'll just keep reading. Subhadra Draupadi Kunti
Subhadra Draupadi Kunti
Virata Tanaya Tatha
Virata Tanaya Tatha
Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha
Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha
Yuyutsur Gautamo Yamo
Yutsur Gautamo Yamo
Vrikodarascha Domyascha
Dhudarascha Damyascha
Striyo Matsya Sutadayaha
Matsya Sutadaya
Nasehi Devi Muhyanto
Nasehi Devi Muyanto
Viraham Shangadanvanaha
Viraham Sarnayadhanavaha
Subhadra, the sister of Krishna. Draupadi, the wife of the Pandavas. Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas. Virata Tanaya, the daughter of Virata, Uttara. Tatha, also Gandhari, the mother of Duryodhana. Dhritarashtra, the father of Duryodhana. Cha, and Yuyutsu, the son of Dhritarashtra by his Vaishya wife. Interesting. Gautama, Kripacharya, Yamo, the twin brothers Nakula and Sahadev. Vrikodara, Bhima, Cha, and Domya. Domya. Anyone know who Domya is? He was the Pandavas' Brahmin priest. Yeah, he was very nice. Cha, and Striya, also other ladies of the palace. Matsya Sutta Adayaha, the daughter of a fisherman who's Satyavati, who's Bhishma's stepmother. Okay. Na, could not. Sehire, tolerate. Vimu hyanta, almost fainting. Vidaham, separation. Sharanga Danvanaha, of Sri Krishna who bears a conch in his hand. Or if you remember a few chapters earlier, we were talking about Kunti, who was praying for calamity over and over again in her life. And why was she praying for calamity? Because in that calamity, because she was very sincerely devoted to the Lord, he was there to deliver them every step of the way. But now their greatest fear is happening. Because everything's good and everything is nice and peaches and cream. Yudhisthira is ruling the kingdom. Everything is very... religion is reestablished. Guess now what they will lose? Yeah, they'll lose the Lord. They'll lose the Lord being there. So actually in your life, when everything's going good and as planned, you can probably wave goodbye to the Lord because you'll forget. You'll be so happy with what's going on in your life. You will not be so focused on the Lord. That's why the Bhaktisiddhanta, he says that the fortunate person's path is beset with thorns. If your path has no thorns on it, then you won't turn to the Lord. You'll just get lost in the happy fun time of the material world. So who's got some thorns in their life? How fortunate you are. How fortunate you are. Do you see the world like that? Do you see life like that? This is actually Advaita consciousness, understanding everything is the Lord's mercy. And so now Kunti, this is why she prayed a little bit earlier. But now we'll see. Lord Sri Krishna is so... at that time, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yuyutsu, Kripacharya, Nakula, Sahadev, Bhimasen, Domya, and Satyavati all nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is so attractive for the living beings, especially for the devotees, that it is impossible for them to tolerate separation. The conditioned soul under the spell of illusory energy forgets the Lord, otherwise he cannot. The feeling of such separation cannot be described, but it can simply be imagined by devotees only. After its separation from Vrindavan and the innocent rural cowherd boys, girls, ladies, and others, they all felt shocked throughout their lives, and the separation of Radharani, the most beloved cowherd girl, is beyond expression. Once they met at Kurukshetra during a solar eclipse, and the feeling which was expressed by them is heartrending. There is, of course, a difference in the qualities of the transcendental devotees of the Lord, but none of them who have ever contacted the Lord by direct communion or otherwise can leave him for a moment. That is the attitude of the pure devotee. Krishna itself, Krishna, what does the word mean? Go ahead, Meghna. No? Go ahead. All attractive. He's so attractive that as soon as you actually get to commune with such a person, with such a all-attractive object of worship, you'll never want to leave it. That's why actually, the Rupa Goswami, I can only paraphrase it because I don't remember it, but he says a prayer that if you want a success in love and friendship and all the material things of this world, don't go down by the Yamuna River and see Sri Krishna playing his flute. Don't do it. Because you'll never see any of it as attractive again. It will all become, disgusting. But for whatever reason, you've all drinking this poison. You've all somehow or other heard about Krishna and seen Krishna. Many of you were born with Krishna into your lives. So now nothing else can be attractive. When you actually hear about Krishna, when you see Krishna and you experience Krishna consciousness, doesn't matter how good the salsa is. It doesn't matter how pretty the lady is. It doesn't matter how much money the job makes or how much, opulence that comes. You'll know it to be distasteful because you'll know too much. You've seen too much. And just like, I give this example. We go to 2 water springs. And everyone thinks I'm like a big baby because I can't drink the other water. What? Okay. My wife is sending the quote.
Be mindful of screen on share.
Yes. Oh no. I hope I don't have anything.
Just me texting myself because you never answered me.
Oh, I don't know where it is, where you sent it.
Text message.
I didn't get it. Anyhow.
Yeah, you did. I just saw it on your phone. Anyway.
I didn't get it here. Oh, maybe I did get it. I'm all the way down. I text a lot of people. Oh. I'm kind of scared to have all of the messages up for everyone to read. So I'm not gonna do it. Are you sure?
Prabhu, your phone's turned down.
What's that?
The light went off.
Okay.
It died.
Yeah, the phone died.
Oh, my phone's dead. That's alright. YouTube is still on. But Rupa Goswami has written a very nice verse wherein one gopi advises another. My dear friend, if you desire to enjoy the company of material society, friendship, and love, then please do not go see this smiling boy Govinda who is standing on the bank of the Yamuna and playing his flute. His lips brightened by the beams of the full moonlight. I think Srila Rupa Goswami indirectly instructs that one who has been captivated by the beautiful, smiling face of Krishna has lost all attraction for material enjoyments. This is the test of advancement in Krishna consciousness. A person advancing in Krishna consciousness must lose interest in material activities and personal sense gratification. If the attachment is still there, then the Krishna consciousness really has not come. Actually, you haven't actually seen or experienced Krishna to such a potent degree yet. He's only maybe given you a little taste, or maybe you're only coming to him to get material things. Many people, all people come to him in the beginning just for what material thing do you got for me? Here, I'll worship you, I'll surrender, no problem. But what's the material, what's in it for me, as we were saying? This is a psychological thing that people want to always know. What's in it for me? What do I get? But actually, you'll get the most wonderful thing, but you'll lose everything else. You'll lose all the other things that you were chasing. But it's worth it. It's so worth it. So anyway, now all of these great devotees, now they have the perfect human society. They have the perfect rulership. Everyone's happy. Everything's in abundance, wealth. Everything is there. It's perfect harmony. But now their lives are going to be in utter chaos. Why? Because now they're losing the very thing that is the most attractive to them, and that's the Supreme Lord. So this is actually why Lord Chaitanya, we chant the Shikshastakam every morning. This is ultimately the mood of Lord Chaitanya, that the devotee, we become big crybabies and we're always longing for the Lord. Because, once you hear about the Lord and how great the lives of the devotees are in relation to the Lord, then anything else you hear of in this material world just becomes, this is nothing in comparison to the bliss that's being offered in this. So now, obviously, they're very upset that Krishna is leaving them. And they are so fortunate because they experienced an actual personal relationship with Krishna. We can only hear about it. We can only read about it. Ourselves, we're cultivating through our sadhana, our worship practices, the kind of idea and the mental kind of process of what it's like to worship the Lord. But we can't even fathom what it would be like to person to person associate with the Lord. That's why we practice first with the Lord's devotees. Shai Sadhu Sangha is so important. And actually, the Lord, he says in the Vishnu Purana, that those who say they are my devotees are what? They're not my devotees. Who is, Meghna, who is the Lord's devotees? Yes, the devotees of my devotees. They are my devotees. So this is, if you want the actual key to get to the Lord, many people, especially we meet them, they're so new, and maybe they're usually into like some meditation or something like that. And they're like, yes, I'm going to conquer the Lord. And only the devotees know, like, oh, you can't do it that way. But okay, go ahead, try, no problem. You can spend 8 hours a day meditating and things like that. There's Bhagavatam verses that, what the yogis who meditate on for 10,000 years, this, like, that, and the other. Somehow or other, these cowherd boys, they can't even get a glimpse of the tips of your toenails, but somehow these cowherd boys are jumping on your shoulders and beating you and wrestling and all these things like this. How did that happen? Actually, because they're the most advanced and they're the most intimate with the Lord. So these devotees are very nice as well. We're hearing about them. These are from like the Yadava clan and the devotees in Hastinapur. But let's keep reading. Satsangan muktadu sango
Satsangam muktadu sango
Hatum not sahate buddha
Atum no sahate buddha
Kirtyamanam yasho yasya
Kirtayamanam yaso yasya
Sakrida karnya rochanam
Sakrida karnya rochanam
Tasmin yastadiya partha
Tasmin yastadiya partha
Sahiran vidaham katham
Sahiran vidaham katham
Darshana sparsha samlapa
Darshana sparsha sarapa
Shayanasana bhojanai
Sayanasana bhojanahe
Satsanga, by the association of pure devotees. Muktadu Sangha,
Muktadu sangha
freed from bad materialistic association.
from bad materialistic association
Hatum, to give up. Na utsahate,
Na utsahate
never attempts.
Never attempts.
Buddha,
Buddha
one who has understood the Lord.
who understood the Lord
Kirtyamanam,
Kirtayamana
glorifying. Yasha, fame. Yasya,
Yasya,
whose. Sakrit,
Sakrit
only once. Akarnya,
Karnya
hearing only.
hearing only
Rochanam,
Rochanam
pleasing. Tasmin,
Tasmin
unto him. Nyastadiyaha,
Nyastadiya
one who has given his mind unto him.
one who has given his mind
Partha,
Partha
the sons of Pritha.
the son of Pritha
Saharan,
Sahiran
can tolerate.
can tolerate
Viraham, separation. Katham, how? Darshana,
Darshana
seeing face to face. Sparsha, touching.
touching
Samlapa,
Samlapa
conversing.
Conversing.
Shayana,
Shayana,
sleeping.
sleeping
Asana,
Asana
sitting.
sitting
Bhojanai,
Bhojana
dining together.
dying together
Translation. The intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees and have become freed from bad materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. How then could the Pandavas tolerate his separation? For they had been intimately associated with his person, seeing him face to face, touching him, conversing with him, and sleeping, sitting, and dining with him. So this is our this is the conclusion that we're reaching here. The intelligent, only the intelligent become the most highly devoted of the Lord. The Lord gives them the intelligence to come to him. This is right. Tesham satati yuktanam bhajanti pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. This is like the conclusion of the Chatur Shloki of the Bhagavad Gita. That the Supreme Lord, to those who are devoted and worship Him, He gives the intelligence by how to come to Him. So the intelligent who understood the Lord, how? In the association of the pure devotees. That's how you understand the Lord. And also simultaneously, and who have become freed from what? What, Brajesh? You tell me.
From suffering.
No. But what this type of association causes suffering. What's it say? You just read. Peter, you tell him.
Materialistic.
It says bad materialistic association. This is our enemy, actually. Not that we should, treat everyone as our enemy. You're a materialist, this, that, and the other. But we have to be very discerning. Who are we associating with? And what are they going to do? What will this type of association do to my life? And you'll find most association in the world, it's especially where we are, because we're not very strong in our spiritual life, we get swept up in it, So if the whole gang's going bowling, the next thing you know, all right, time for bowling, and next thing we're going to bowl. Did you guys go bowling on your trip?
We went golfing.
Golfing, yes. When the whole gang's going golfing, then you're going to be golfing. And then nothing so wrong about golfing. It's not like, wow, you're going to hell if you golf. But maybe the desire to golf in the first place. Actually, there's a funny story about golf, actually, that Prabhupada...
Yes, old people, and he was crying.
Yes,
Old people.
yes. Did Michael tell you this? Who told?
I don't remember. Someone.
So Prabhupada he came to the West. He might have been in London or the USA, but what he saw was a bunch of old people golfing. Like this current president, he's always golfing. He spends most of the year golfing. No problem, fine. Not really though, and Prabhupada, he sees all the old people golfing. We know so many people who golf. My brother, he's really big into golf actually, and Prabhupada just starts crying. And one of the disciples said, Prabhupada, why are you crying? What's wrong? And he is saying that, just see, the old people, this is the time where they should be approaching God, and they're spending their time doing this. Why? It's a waste of time. What can you get, Like a little bit of, look at the ball. Right? That's all you can get. Like, that's all you can get.
Good pictures.
Yeah, photos, this, that. But these old people, their time is running out in this material world. And how are they spending their time? Putting a ball around. The most crucial part of life is coming ever so closer to them. And they're just busying themselves, putting balls around and watching TVs and so many things. What a waste. And this actually brought tears to his eyes, because he's just like, he's seeing with such compassion how fallen this society is. How can I help these people? This is what they do. This is how they spend their old age. And it just especially for like a sadhu from India, because now sports it's becoming everywhere. But cricket was like a British thing. It wasn't like really like an inherent Indian thing.
It's way bigger in India now.
Oh yeah. It's become an Indian. It's become an Indian thing, but it's a British thing that you guys just like adopted and like, yes, this is our sport, our pastime, whatever. But like,
Following the legacy of the colonizers.
yeah, but actually, like Prabhupada, he was born in the 1800s, and he's like a sadhu, and he lived the sadhu life. And so to just see that this is the paradigm, this is what he's facing here, it broke his heart, actually. This is how the old people spend their time. Like, I mean, we know so many our old relatives.
My grandpa does.
Yeah,
He can't, so now he just watches
Pop, loved golfing for many years, but now he can't golf anymore, because naturally when you get old, you lose all faculties. And now he's very, getting more. Unfortunately, he's not alone, but anybody who gets old in this Western paradigm will get more and more depressed, because they're missing the actual point of what they're supposed to do. That's what vanaprastha is. You should be detaching from material things. And you should be really getting ready for like the spiritual junction that's coming, which is death. Are you ready for death? The wise, the spiritualist knows, that death can come at any second, actually. So, I don't know if we'll have time for this purport, because Meghna, you really have to go, right? So why don't we save this purport for tomorrow? Is there any, like a question or comment or anything from anyone? No? So, but this, just to conclude then, this verse is going to get into it. But the pure devotees, they only want to be, one who really have a taste for the Lord, they only want to be around the devotees of the Lord. And then materialistic association, they'll naturally become freed from this thing. They won't crave to be around this anymore. If we crave this still, it just means there's a lack of advancement that we've made. So this is our, no problem. But what do the devotees hear? They can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord. And I have to fight so hard. Come on, just come. We'll talk about the glories of the Lord. We set it up once a day. No, I don't know. I've got this going on, this going on. That thing, fine. Just come whenever you can, please. But this is actually only because they don't know the science of Bhagavatam. They've not tasted the Lord at all at this point. But we're here to actually give people a taste of the Krishna consciousness. And once you get a taste, as that verse to Rupa Goswami that we quoted, you're going to lose all the taste for these other things. You'll realize, oh my God. Like I was giving the example, I have to drink water, I have to go like 40 minutes across Lake Oneida, and there's like a little spring over there, and it slowly trickles out. And it takes me a while. It took me like 3 hours to fill up for the ashram and me the other day. Just to why? Because I've tasted that water, and I've been drinking water like that my whole life. So if I drink anything else at this point, it sucks. I'm like, oh, I hate this.
Do you remember that Christian song? It's called Holy Water. All I want is holy water. Take me deeper.
No, I have no idea.
It's like on the same lines. Like when you've got holy water, like you don't want anything else. Like
yeah, I mean that's what that's what Krishna consciousness is like. Once you have the association of the devotees, once you have Krishna consciousness and you see the type of life it gives, anything else just like, oh, that sucks. I don't know if the word suck is something I should say. It's not really a good, I think it has like homophobic roots in the English language. I'm pretty sure. So anyway, so I'm going to try and stop saying that word. But it's not tasteful at all. It doesn't taste good, feel good at all. And then the joke, because, like when you drink, when you get a taste of something wonderful, then you start going and eating like if you eat really good Indian food, and then to try and eat bland food again, it's just like, oh, it has no taste. You have to literally starve me for 3 days, and then I'm ready to eat anything again. But, once you taste really good food, that's why, some people are such picky eaters. And no, I've been tasting this, and that. So anyhow, once you taste the Lord, yeah, you'll naturally want to associate with the devotees, and you'll want to get rid of the association that's blocking you from that. Because, once you hear about these sublime topics, then when someone wants to tell you about their parrot or something like that, or their Cherokee, or what is that? What's that bird called? Parakeet. And they want to tell you about their pet or this, that, and the other thing. You're just like, when is this conversation going to end? It's so painful. Because you've been spending your time hearing and talking about glorious things. So now when you hear and talk about mundane things, because that's what most people want to talk about, you're just like, oh my God, when can I get out of here? But that's it. That's why we should always just keep talking about these things. So if you know, fill the gap, especially if people don't like to talk these things. You know, no, we got to talk about it. Bring it back in book distribution, right? When you're out there, we did this in the book distribution seminar. One of our things was bring it back to the book. If you're talking and next thing you know, someone wants to talk about something else or conspiracy theories or this, that, and the other, no problem. Bring it back to the book. We had a nice time yesterday with my wife's uncle. And then we have to end. But my wife's uncle, he really helped us actually diagnose a huge problem. There was a bursted pipe in the farm property that we had, and it was actually causing a huge problem. But he was able to fix it and help us. But, you know, because he's not so versed on, you know, some of these devotional topics, you know, we were having all kinds of interesting talks with him throughout the day and things like that. But I was really, really happy that by the end of the day, you know, we were talking about different things, you know, his view on life, things like that. Especially my wife was cooking and me and him were just kind of alone talking. But by the end of the day, I felt really, really grateful that he took a Bhagavad Gita and he seemed eager that he could read it. And it was natural based on the conversations we were having. And I felt like, you know what, that was my accomplishment for the day, that, you know, maybe he'll really take Bhagavad Gita and get something really wonderful out of it. You know, because we're giving him access to Krishna. We're giving people access to Krishna. And in that, there's like a real pleasure that can come to their life, which isn't like the empty, you know, no offense, but the golf-like pleasures where, you know, you're just hitting the ball, taking the photo, and then now what? You know, it doesn't really, it's not going to satisfy you in the long run. It's just going to be like okay, now what? You know, like that. It's like ice cream. And then, okay, now it's gone. Now what? So anyhow, this is the world. Good luck. Peter, do you think you can take Meghna and then come back and take Prasad? Are you in a rush or anything? Yeah. Meghna, you take some prasad with you as well? They have some prasad. Yeah, pack it. Okay, she's got her program. No problem. Okay, thank you for joining online, and we'll continue again tomorrow.